Well, it's me again, and this is my podcast and my world, where I take you along on an adventure where we get to explore everything and anything that goes on in my mind. Oh boy, is it random, is it crazy, it's nuts, it's all over the place. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's have a good time. Well, Jiminy Christmas. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to my podcast. So, this is now podcast like 57. So, which by the way, 57, that's a good year for a Chevy. My very first dream car was a 57 Chevy Bel Air. And then I learned about the Nomad. And yeah, I like the 57 Chevy Nomad. Oh, what a car that is. What a car. So, anyways, welcome everyone. Welcome. This is my podcast. If you don't yet, pause it now. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee or a tea or something and sit back, relax, and let's spend the next 20 minutes together talking about what's going on in my world. Oh, wow. So, did some more research about them little puppies and found out that part of the problem with the swimmer syndrome is also to do with the fact that the bottom of the kennel where they're, living kind of at this, last couple of weeks is very slippery. So they can't get a good footing. So we went ahead and picked up a floor mat, like the carpeted floor mat basically, and put that on the bottom of the kennel. And it's got it's carpet on top and then like a rubber on the bottom, and it's got like a rubber edging that goes all the way around it. So that way, when it gets gross, I can hose it off and scrub it and get it clean and then put it back in. So, and really this is only temporary for the next couple of weeks, just while, we, learning how to walk. So the weather is starting to get a little bit cold outside, and I think in the next week or two, when the puppies really start walking and playing and moving around and wanting to get very active, I think the weather might be almost a little too cold to be outside for a long period of time. But I think once they get about a month and a half old, every now and again we might take them outside. I've got some wire fencing material that we can make a big circle in the yard, and then they can, not in the wood chips, in the grass, and they can play and chase each other and have some fun out in the sunlight. So I've been doing some research on when to vaccinate them and give them their shots and all this stuff. So I'm all good, ready to go. I've got a feed store, actually, that's not very far from where we live, that I'm going to purchase everything I need in order to do that, as well as if I need to deworm and all that kind of stuff. I have access to all that stuff without having to pay the extremely high vet bill. So I was asking the vet. I told him, hey, we have 3 puppies. This is what's going on. Blah blah blah. And how much would it be to have them come in? And there's the lady on the phone. She's like, you don't need to bring them in. You're fine. Just do this, and this. Okay. So we're good. So that's the puppy thing. I'm so super excited. I just got a bunch of what's it called? Ponderosa pine wood given to me. Almost an entire tree, actually. And so there's lots and lots of logs and stuff, or, they're cut into like 16-inch pieces, but they need to be, hit with an axe a few times. And so anyways, I got a bunch of wood that was given to me. So that's going to be my project the next day or two, is getting that all cut up and stacked. Find a place to stack it real nice and neat and get it stacked. I've also got to start putting some poles in the ground around where the chicken run's going to be, because we're putting in a chicken run, and we're going to end up getting a chicken coop. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get one or if I'm going to build one. I was told that I can just build, if I wanted to, like a little 4x4 shed, basically, and do that too. So I don't know. We'll see. I only plan on having anywhere between 6 to 10 chickens, but I'm going to start off with 6 next year, I think, and then we'll see where we go from there. If they're able to finish everything off with what, the first year is kind of difficult to find out how much food my garden provides. So any of the excess, the scraps, all my yard waste is going to end up going to the chickens. And so then I need to kind of do a little trial and error and find out how many it's going to need. The first year is going to be different than the second. Once as my garden gets more and more established, it's going to end up requiring probably more and more chickens, because it'll be producing more and more waste. So, and then the other thing too is I want to start growing kale pretty soon. I'm not so worried about it right now, but in the spring I'll get some kale going, and then next fall as well. So I'll always have some greens that I can give the chickens, and so it's kind of a trial and error kind of thing, just to see where the right balance is, where exactly we need to be as far as our balance is concerned. And pumpkins, I'm gonna grow pumpkins. We wanna cover the entire front yard basically in bell peppers and pumpkins. The wife really likes bell peppers. Our freezer has been quite empty of bell peppers for quite some time, so it's definitely at the point where it's time to put bell peppers in the yard. Well, and when I say put them in the yard, so the wife really likes bell peppers, and she likes them being in the freezer. So we definitely need to grow some more bell peppers. And that's something, they're not too expensive to buy in the store. But the problem with, my opinion, of course, buying food, especially vegetables and fruit and stuff in the store, is that you don't know how it was grown. You don't know when it was picked so much. You don't know when, what was sprayed on it, all that kind of stuff. So the more food and the more variety of food that I can grow out of my garden, the better. And I want to be able to grow, a wide range of different types of food. I have I planted 2 different apple trees in the front yard. I got a Honeycrisp and a Fuji. And then I have 2 different varieties, and I don't know off the top of my head what varieties they are, of peach trees that I'm going to put in the front. Actually, one's going to be in the front, and it's going to be in the front, but more to the side. And then I am going to end up growing some pear trees as well. So I'm going to have the pear trees, but I also want to have some other stuff too. Like, I'm really thinking of some plum trees, and I would like eventually to have a cherry, if not a couple of cherry trees. There's just a bunch of trees I want to have. I want to have a lot of trees. I like trees. And now that I know that I can successfully grow plants underneath trees because of the wood chips and the quality of the soil. Because see, I mean, the basics, I mean, we all kind of know them, but the basics of it all is as the wood chips decompose, it ends up feeding the soil. And the life in the soil, the worms and all of the stuff that's living in the soil ends up taking that compost and bringing the nutrients and everything down further into the soil. So I can pretty much grow anything I want to underneath trees for the most part. So I'm definitely doing that. The other thing I'm really debating, and I'm not exactly sure about doing it. I'm kind of nervous about the idea. However, I have a gorgeous fig tree in a pot up by my front door. Gorgeous fig. It's a Desert King fig. And, you know, I've seen Paul, he grows Desert King fig, and he puts them in the ground and grows, and they grow, and they do fine. But I'm nervous about it because I've tried taking cuttings of this thing and grow the cuttings in the house, and they don't seem to ever take very well. So I'm going to try a few more cuttings. I'm also going to put probably a cutting in the ground outside and see if that'll take. But yeah, I really want to grow a fig tree in my garden. I think a fig would be so awesome. And it has to be a very cold tolerant fig. But I know that with the wood chips and everything, if I can get it established, the roots will survive with the covering. But what's above the wood chips may end up dying off every year. And that's a risk I'm willing to take. But I have to have 2 fig trees. I don't want to grow one outside and then one inside. And well, I do, but I don't want to put my only fig tree outside. Basically, I'm just kind of afraid of losing it. The other thing I have to do, I don't have a choice, I must do it, is I need to pull my fig out of the pot that she's in right now. She's in a terracotta pot that's got a glaze on it. It's a really beautiful pot, but the root ball is very clearly too big for the pot. She's kind of choking up in there. I have another pot, a great big one that I'm just trying to decide if that's what I'm gonna put it in or not, or do I just dig a hole in the ground and shove her in the ground and pray for the best. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So if you have any ideas or suggestions or any words of encouragement, I could definitely use that, especially right now. I'm kind of in a situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous. It was very difficult to find a Desert King, healthy Desert King fig plant or tree as it is now. Very difficult. And so my fear is that I won't be able to propagate it. So I'm going to try again to clone it here in the next day or two, and try to get it to grow. But I have very little hope at this point. But we're going to give it a try. So anyways, that fig will be outside. It'll be in the ground growing, and that'll be good. And I'm going to do blackberries and raspberries, and we're doing a lot more blueberries. Next year, I'm going to buy a ton of blueberry plants, a ton of strawberry plants. I'm in the spring. I'm really excited. I am going to go crazy, and I'm going to buy tons and tons and tons of plants. tons of plants. So lots and lots and lots of stuff I'm going to grow. And I'm really, like I said, I'm really excited to be able to do that. And yeah, I mean, there's gonna be so much. I mean, we are planting a food forest after all. I have been talking about it and discussing it with my wife, and we've pretty much come to the conclusion that our number one goal for plants is to plant up the front yard very heavy, and then that way not unkept looking, but we want the structures, plants in, all the bushes and all the structure stuff we want to have in the yard. So we're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna make basically the front yard is our goal, to get it planted out, and with stuff that comes back every year. So that is it. That's our goal. That's kind of the plan. So let's see here. Oh, darn it. So sorry, not you, me. I over here talking to you and totally lost train of thought of what I was supposed to be doing. Wouldn't be the first time I missed my stop and gotta turn around, go back. That's all right. It happens. So, excuse me. So I have been very busy in the gardening world, outside. And a lot of wood chips. I've spent pretty much my entire year moving wood chips around. And I still have a bunch more to move into the backyard. But I've gotten the basics in, or the base in. So I will just come back next year and finish up a few areas in the backyard next year. And not worry so much about it right now, especially like the secret garden area. I haven't really put any wood chips in there. I haven't even really thought about much of it because we're so undecided on exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But not only that, the problem with that area is we got to put the shed in, and I don't have the money available at this time for the shed, so in order to put the shed in, it's going to end up having to wait a little bit, yada, 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 and then I can landscape around the shed once it's in, and excuse me for yawning, I'll know a little bit better about placement of the shed and then where everything's going to go around it. So, yeah. A lot's been going on. A lot's been happening, not only outside but inside as well. And maybe on the next episode I will talk to you about what's going on inside and that kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of stuff, and very busy. A lot of wood chips being moved, wood being moved, plants are going in. Getting ready. I've already kind of got everything all laid out where I'm going to put stuff. So like I know where my potato bed's going. I know where my strawberry bed's going. I know where a lot of stuff's going. So a lot of stuff's happening. A lot of stuff all over the place. And yeah, so like always, comment, like, subscribe, yada, 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 that kind of thing. And, all those people down there in that comment section below, check out their channels, man. All right, until next time, y'all have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Bye for now.
This has been a Graham's World broadcast brought to you directly from Graham's mind. So stay tuned because there's more to come.